Hey YouTube, now that you've seen how to blow dry and flat iron your hair, mostly swing bob, but either of my videos would have worked for any kind of hairstyle. Now you want to fix your face, right? Some girls wear makeup, some don't, that's understandable. But to the girls who don't wear makeup, or just, don't feel like dealing with it, there are simple ways that you can do makeup to where it looks like you're not wearing a whole lot, but it hides the redness or shininess or whatever problem your skin has. The most important part to putting on makeup is starting with a clean slate, as I call it, which means your face is clean and moisturized. My main cleaner that I use for my face is this Dove Cream Oil Body Wash. I use the Rosewood Cocoa Butter scent because it smells really good. And plus cocoa butter is really moisturizing, and I have really dry skin. But you can use that. Normally that's what I use in the shower. And then when I get out, or in the mornings, is mostly when I use this, I use this Clean and Clear Morning Burst. This is their new formula. The main thing you want to look for when you're using a cleanser is that it's oil free. That's really important because otherwise it'll make your face, well, pimply. The thing that I like about this stuff is that it has a cooling agent in it, and also it has a lemony scent to it, so it kind of wakes you up in the morning and makes your face look really nice, and it polishes off all that dead skin that builds up overnight. So the steps to starting with a clean slate is cleanse, tone, and moisturize, in that order. So after we've cleansed, which I showed you my cleansers, I use a toner, which is this stuff. This is the Proactive Toner. You don't necessarily have to use this. This is just what I had. I have also used the Clean and Clear Astringent Toner, and I have used, there's another one. I forget what it's called, but it's a L'Oreal product, and it's called Revitalizing Toner, and it has kind of a tingly feeling that it gives your face. And then you're going to want to moisturize somehow. Well, I also found the Proactive Repairing Lotion, which is a type of moisturizer. Or you can use, I'm a big fan of the Clean and Clear Repairing, which is basically a salicylic acid inside of a moisturizer. So you're moisturizing and killing your acne at the same time, which is awesome. And then there's also one that's made for mornings. It does kind of the same thing as the Morning Burst Cleanser. So after you've done all that, cleanse, tone, and moisturize, I've already done all this. You're going to want to start with your base. Now, there's different kinds of bases. You can start with either a tinted moisturizer. I don't have anything with me, but most lines of makeup have a tinted moisturizer. A lot of girls like to use that during the summer because they get a tan and really don't need a whole lot. Myself, I use this Dream Liquid Mousse by Maybelline. It gives you an airbrush finish. I like it that it's a liquid, but it doesn't feel greasy. It kind of has a dry feel to it after you put it on. Another formula of that is the Dream Matte Mousse, which is also very good, but it gets very thick, so you have to be careful how much you put on. And then there's a powder base that you can use. You can either use a concentrated powder or a loose powder. This is the powder I use. It's from Maybelline New York, called Shine Free Loose Powder. I use the powder over my liquid foundation because I like to use it to get rid of the shine, because sometimes a liquid foundation will give you a bit of a shine. Now, when I put this on my face, there's a little nozzle on it, and I just kind of put a little everywhere I know I will need some. And then I kind of rub it in. You can use your hands or a sponge. I just find I have more control when I use my hands. But do keep in mind, if you have an extra oily face, it may be a good idea to go with a sponge, because this does put a little extra oil on your face. You can use, and there's also a brush that you can use. Sally Beauty Supply carries it, or Those of you who don't have a license and can't go to state or don't have the money to go to a salon and buy your things. And when you're putting on your foundation, especially since hardly anybody matches perfectly to their foundation, it's normally either a little too light or a little too dark. Depending on what color hair you have or what kind of style you have. Me, I like to be a little lighter than my natural face tone because I like the dark hair, light skin look. But during the summer, I go with a little bit darker than my skin tone. And make sure you're blending all the way back to your ears and at your jawline, because if you don't, you're going to have either an orange or pink line depending on how close your foundation is. So after you've done that, that covers up all the red in your skin. Now put that away. Always keep a paper towel on hand because this stuff gets really messy. And if you're already dressed and you're trying to put on your makeup, it makes a big mess. Then you're going to take your loose powder. In my case, I have to shake it a little. And then unscrew the lid. Mine has this little, it kind of looks like a talcum powder type stuff. And it does get on the table and it kind of, it doesn't come off. It's kind of like cinnamon, if any of you know what the consistency of cinnamon is. It just, you rub it in and it just stays there, which tells you it's a good powder. And when I put the powder on my brush, I always kind of shake it because it gets to be too much. And then in a circular motion, I just kind of put this all over my face, a little on my neck. And there you have your powder. And after you put that on, you're going to want to put your top back on the powder, because if you spill it, oh my gosh, it's a mess. It doesn't come out of anything, trust me. Clean off your hands again, probably. What I'm using to put this on is a short blush brush or powder brush. Personally, I like the big full ones. This one I believe I got from Sally Beauty Supply. They have some really good brushes there. I'm not quite sure what kind of blush this is, but I like it. Actually, I think it came from the dollar store. You don't necessarily have to use professional products. And when I say professional, I mean the things you get from Sephora and MAC and Aveda. Those are all very, very good products, don't get me wrong. But you can look just as good using cheaper products. Just, you have to be careful what you choose, because some things can break you out or just not look as good. So I've chosen this peachy color, and I'm kind of putting it on my brush. You can see it on there. I don't want to choose a color that's much different from my skin, because I just use it to highlight my cheeks a little. You should barely be able to see it. It just adds a little bit of a difference, so you can see the difference between your cheeks and, you know, the rest of your face. And it always helps to put a little color in your face by dusting a tiny bit on your nose, forehead, and chin. Just don't put as much as you would put on your cheeks. And then you're going to want to set that aside. Then it's time to move on to your eyeshadow, which is my favorite part. So I have this, this is Wet n Wild, also a non-professional product, just something I had sitting around. This one is called Sweetest Candy. It's a newer product. I got it maybe a month ago, but I found that it's really, really nice for days when I just don't want to look like I'm going out to the club or whatever. You know, it's kind of a work palette, and I like that. These I like because they give you the 3 colors you're supposed to use together. Obviously, you can do whatever you want with them, but I just choose to buy the palettes. I could just as easily get a big one, but I prefer these because they range from about $4 to $7, and you get 3 to 5 colors. I've seen them, and they really give you nice highlighting colors. I normally use my finger, but I'm going to use a brush for tutorial purposes. Always make sure your brush is clean and has all the shadow out of it from previously, because otherwise you'll be getting that color in your shadow now. So I'm going to start with my lightest color in my palette, and I'm just going to kind of brush my brush across it, and you're kind of going to look like that on the brush, and you're just going to sweep that across. This is going to be your base color. And it's just going to kind of give you a nice little glow to your eye. And you're going to want to do that to both eyes. You can do one whole eye at a time. I prefer to do both at the same time, but that's just me. You can do it however you'd like to. When I'm done with that, I kind of like to put some on the tip like this and go underneath my eyebrow. So that's always real pretty to highlight your brow bone. And you're going to want to smooth that in, because otherwise you look like just really weird. And I always highlight down in there too with the corner of my brush, just because it makes you look more awake if you have wide open lighter colors in there. Then I'm going to go for my second lightest color, which would be pink in this palette. And I'm going to take it and start right at my eyelash line and kind of sweep it upward. And this, what I'm doing, is actually a smoky eye, but it's a real neutral smoky eye. One you can wear to work. It doesn't have to necessarily be the cat eye type smoky eye. And when you're doing this, you're going to kind of want to go up into the white, in my case, or your lighter color, because that just helps blend it, and it looks real pretty that way. This is a real light pink, kind of a ballet slipper pink. As you can see, not a whole lot of difference, but just enough to where there's a different hue in there. And then you're going to take and clean out your brush, and then you're going to want to take your last color and do again what I did with the tip of your brush, like that. You can't really see it because it's a brown. You're going to go in the crease of your eye, and you're going to kind of follow that right there, because you're just going to want to put a little bit of a dark shadow in there. And this is going to make that smoky look. And what I was doing, I was just kind of wiggling it a little. And you can take that over as far as you want. Obviously, the further over you go, the darker the eye is going to look. This is actually a little bit intense compared to what I would normally do, but it makes it show up better. And then, I mean, it depends on how satisfied you are with the way the colors turned out. Me, I think I'd like a little more pink. You can go back in there and brush a little pink across the bottom. And then you may decide you want to highlight those brow bones a little more. And in that case, you just go back up there and do that. And I'm applying this a little bit heavy because I'm on camera and it's hard to see otherwise. You can take that light color in there again. You're going to want to blend this in really well, otherwise it kind of looks like yuck. It kind of looks like a clown, and that's no fun, right? And you can take your blush brush, and you could put a little powder in there. but I prefer just to use it like this.